Hello beautiful people, I hope you're all doing super well. Welcome back to another video of mine. This one's a little different to the others because we're talking all things skin health, essentially from the inside out, and acne and my personal struggles and my healing journey with it all. So I just wanted to start off by sharing my story because it has been a long one. And the struggles, it's just been a long road for me, and it's been 5+ years to be exact. I've always struggled with breakouts, but when I turned 26, it's when I really started to experience the cystic acne. So I had acne predominantly from my cheeks, my jawline, my neck, my chest, and my back. And to be honest, it was quite debilitating. I know it may sound quite dramatic, but when you've experienced it, you just know. So in the past, I've dealt with acne through Western medicine by being on the pill. I've seen many doctors. I've seen the best skin dermatologists and therapists that have come highly recommended. I've spent, guys, I think close to $5,000 more on products, doing all of the treatments, the things that were advised, but I felt like none of it worked. And what it really came down to is the people I was seeing, I don't think they quite understood the systemic issues when it comes to acne. So I knew in my gut I really had to dig deeper, and I chose the path of natural healing. So, since that point, I've never really looked back. So it's been an overall blessing. I want to preface this video by saying I am not a doctor, naturopath, gut specialist, or skin therapist, but I am a health coach. So I'm able to guide and advise and give you unbiased information in hopes to make some, just to make anyone feel like there is a way out, So with my background in health coaching, I have dedicated a lot of my personal time in doing extensive research to try and get to the root cause of acne. So unfortunately, when it comes to acne and just overall health in general, it's not the same for everyone because of how beautiful and unique we all are in that aspect. Before I dive into the bulk of this video, I want to highlight that health and wellness is not a one-size-fits-all. One person's food can definitely be someone else's poison. So whatever information I am sharing with you, don't feel the need that you have to do it all for it to work. Just take what resonates, what you feel you can implement into your life and your schedule. And, there's no need to be forcing things onto others because we truly don't know what they're battling with. So I also want to say I'm an advocate for natural health, but I definitely I'm not opposed to Western medicine. I know it serves its purpose, especially when you do have acute illnesses, but I do believe that when our bodies essentially are given the right environment and nutrient-dense foods, they're able to thrive and they're able to combat and heal so much. Our bodies are incredible machines, guys. Don't underestimate them because they can do so much. So we have to believe and trust in that. I will be breaking this video up into 4 segments. So I will be covering topics such as stress. This is a big one for me, and I'm very passionate about having people understand this. Then we'll be focusing on health in general, especially on the gut and liver health. Then it'll be skin and what I put on externally. And lastly, just a couple of tips, things that I do to incorporate on a daily and in my weekly schedule, just to sort of keep and maintain healthy skin and combat any congestion. So first thing I want to cover is stress. Now, we live in a society where a Western society in particular, that almost glorifies stress and how busy we are. And most of us wear it with a badge of honor. And I honestly have a massive issue with that because I cannot reiterate enough the amount of havoc this places on our health. And I personally believe that this is the cause for most dis-ease, chronic illnesses, and it can lead sometimes to more serious problems. So sadly, most of us live in this state and we don't even realize it. And I'm guilty, I used to do that a lot. And so what this means is we're triggering our sympathetic nervous system. And this is a system which is essentially our fight or flight mode. So living in this state will only ever be useful for quick reactions, God forbid, being chased by a tiger or falling out of a plane, okay? So anything that's physically out of your control or, out of your environment, normal environment, it's not necessary at all to be living on this high alert all day, every day, this fight or flight, because this can cause many issues. It increases fat storage, It disrupts hunger cues, it spikes your cortisol, adrenaline, and it lowers your immunity. This is key, okay? This causes hair loss, weight gain, acne, and just a whole host of other issues and problems. So in short, this stress hormone essentially lowers your immunity. And when your immunity is lowered and compromised, your bodies cannot fight and combat things, okay? It becomes susceptible to illness and it's very hard for the body to repair itself. And that's what your body is designed to do, okay? So your immunity is crucial for healing, especially when you have acne. So if you want to support it as much as possible, you know, there are so many things that we can do. So the body unfortunately doesn't know the difference between literal stress, so being chased by a bear, and chronic stress, which is what you're experiencing maybe at work, stressful work task that needs to be done, or a stressful relationship at home. It's the same chemical release, okay? It doesn't separate it, and this is not sustainable, okay? So you can only imagine what it's actually doing to our organs, e.g. our gut health, our liver health. So what we're trying to do is actually activate more into our parasympathetic nervous system. And this is really essential, okay? This is rest and repair. This is where I say all the magic happens. So this is how we really recharge, recalibrate, and really get on this path of being the best versions of ourselves. That way we can show up for our families and our friends being at our optimum, okay? Rest and repair, it can be brought on by a number of things. So things like sleep, doing what you love, surrounding yourselves with beautiful, honest friends, physical touch, any form of meditation, and slowing down. And fitness is also another way of segueing into rest and repair. So if you do a really good workout in the morning, I find that it'll lead to a really relaxed state in the evening. So I do want to mention a couple of other habits that I think personally help and that we can adopt, small little things, okay? So it's things like not looking at your phone an hour before you go to bed so that you don't have these EMFs running and spiking your adrenaline and cortisol. And then don't look at your phone at least 30 minutes after you arise, okay? Being out in nature, you know, going out for walks with your family in nature, reading, taking a bath, maybe drinking less coffee if we can minimize this, adding more magnesium into our diet, essential oils, playing music. And lastly, I just want to highlight meditation because I feel like this was the biggest game changer for me, all right? It allows the body to rest 5 times deeper than sleep, it increases your oxygen, it keeps you more calm and focused and more rational. And that's what we want. We want to be able to have these things thrown at us and deal with it with a more centered energy. So for me, this really strengthened my relationship to me, okay, by meditating. So my whole outlook on life has been changed and it's really given me a deeper understanding. And it's helped me realize how verbally traumatizing I was on my body and saying awful things to myself, constantly not realizing. And I wasn't giving my body the love and respect that it deserved. Because, you know, it's kept me safe and healthy thus far. So I have to change my words and start loving me and not running myself through the ground, but also saying no to things that don't serve me. Like this is the biggest thing, okay? So I want to finish this off by saying that, you know, keep in mind that it's not about doing all of the things, but if you choose to do something, do it properly. Don't just half-ass it, okay? It's not about causing more chaos and craziness. It's just about bringing in more things that serve us. So in order to develop a good habit, you must at least try for like 21 days. And it takes between 66 and 200 and something other days for the habit to actually be automated. So, you know, if you are experiencing stress, it's okay. It's just learning how to manage and it's learning how to understand it and have the tools that work for us so that we're able to pivot and lean more into rest and repair. So now moving on to health, my favorite topic to talk about. And this is all things just overall health, but also for gut health and liver health specifically. So if you haven't had tests before and you feel like your gut health needs more support, I really advise that you find yourself a great naturopath or a functional medicine doctor, any sort of practitioner that you resonate with, and get the blood tests, get the stool tests, get the sensitivity tests, get whatever else you feel you need. So you don't want to be poking around in the dark because this is always going to lead you back to square one, okay? More often than not, with the naturopath, you will be advised to go on an elimination diet which means no gluten, dairy, refined sugar, corn, shellfish, peanuts, eggs, alcohol, caffeine, sugary drinks, the no sugar sweeteners, which these things can also lead to skin being quite red, so redness. So knowing your intolerances is really great. My advice, regardless anyway, is just for overall good health, is to stay away from processed foods and try to incorporate more whole foods, cooking at home, knowing exactly what's going in your meal. Because most of the time when you're buying food out, there are hidden sugars, gluten, dairy remnants, all of these things hidden in sauces especially, and you wouldn't even know it. So if you're going to a restaurant that really prides themselves on good quality ingredients and produce, I'd be very mindful of all of those things. You can't go wrong really with incorporating whole foods and cooking at home because, and mind you, I want to just preface that whole foods, what this means is produce that you can identify with, okay, without having to read the back of the label. So small tip, if you can't pronounce what's on the back of a certain packaged food, whatever, produce, and you don't identify what it is, stay away from it, okay? And I always say stay on the outside perimeter of the supermarket because this is where the less processed food is. And some people come to me and they're like, oh, I really like the processed stuff sometimes. And, but I know I have to get rid of this bad habit, or I really need to let go of these cravings. And I always say the best thing to do is not to focus on what you don't want. Focus on what you want more of. So we call this method, and I learned this in my health course, is it's the crowding out method. And what this means is adding so much goodness and variety through whole foods into your diet, so your body ends up being so fulfilled with anything that you are putting that's nutrient dense based. And what happens is everything else starts to get pushed out. So whatever doesn't serve ends up just, you don't even reach for it, okay? So antibiotics, certain food intolerances, birth control, the pill, this all wreaks havoc on the gut, guys, okay? This is a major contributing factor to ongoing acne as well. So things that can disrupt the good microbiome in us, which I feel, we need to give more to support so that it can combat things like food intolerances, parasites, leaky gut, SIBO, yeast infections, all of that. Okay, so 70-80% of our immune system actually resides in the gut. So there needs to be a balance between good and bad bacteria. And now science does show that most autoimmune diseases are due to poor gut health, okay? So supplements I find that are really good for good gut health, please start one at a time. Don't do all of it because you won't know what's working or what is. So it's things like digestive enzymes, pre and probiotics, certain protein powders, so whatever is being advised by a specialist, don't just pick whatever. Magnesium, GI repairs, formulas like L-glutamine, slippery elm, etc. And really adding lots of fiber into your diet because this is what really feeds the good bacteria. Okay, and lastly, for gut health, I always say mindfulness, relaxation, healthy relationships, therapeutic supplements, making sure that we get good restorative sleep, movement, because this actually does aid with allergens, intolerances, nutrient imbalances in the body, pathogens and toxins. Okay, so there is a direct correlation between the mind and the gut. They don't call it the second brain for nothing, guys. It's just so much more than just eating right and working out for good health. It's managing everything. I just want to cover some foods really that do support good gut health. So it's warm water with lemon in the morning because it's so hydrating and it's full of vitamin C, which is really good for our gut health. Foods, green juices. If you're following food combining protocol, you will know that eating fruit on an empty stomach is essential. And it's also really great for proper digestion. So what this happens with fruit, when you are having it on an empty stomach, it breaks down a lot faster. And so you're able to eat whatever you need afterwards. So if you are having fruit after you eat protein, okay, this is gonna cause a lot of problems. So when your protein, which slows down and breaks down a lot slower rate, and you have fruit on top, the fruit cannot break down. So it sits on top of the protein, and this is what creates bloating and gas, okay? So adding collagen powder into your juices and smoothies, which is also really good. Adding more whole foods, like I said, leafy greens, preferably organic if we can. Eating less red meat. Staying away from eggs, because these feed the pathogens that you're trying to get rid of when you have acne. All right, I really cannot preface that enough. Herbs and spices in your diet, they are so antibacterial, guys. These are the best. Cooking more at home, like I said, this is also a wonderful thing. Drinking herbal teas that are caffeinated. Water, enough said. Chew your food. Your saliva is like liquid gold, and it really does help break down the food in order to help the body digest these components better. Okay, so help your digestion by chewing your food. And lastly, eating when hungry. Don't overdo it. So I want to just talk about my personal issue, because it has been my liver, and this has been overlooked by so many specialists. So my breakthrough happened, and my healing has happened through discovering the medical medium, Anthony Williams, and his acne protocol. This has been the greatest game changer for me. This is where my health and my acne started to just, it was like on another level, okay? And so I will attach his blog post below, because it goes more in depth about it, and I want you guys to do the research and really discover what it is. So he really does believe that most of us that suffer from acne have streptococcus, which is a bacteria that resides in the liver. So this is his quote, okay? That this bacteria moves through the lymphatic system, reaching the derma, causing cystic acne. So the more you keep living in a stressful state, your immune system becomes compromised, which in turn affects the body from healing something like strep, okay? Because it's a bacteria that needs to go. So the lymphatic channels are all over the body. So especially for women, if you are in that time of month when it's your menstrual cycle, 80% of your immunity goes towards the reproductive system, and 20% of it is trying to heal whatever other issues are trying to arise. So like things like acne. So you'll find that your acne flares up because there isn't enough immunity support in that. So just be really mindful of that. So supplements that heal, okay, and this is again his acne protocol: zinc sulfate, organic, vitamin C, lemon balm. This has been the greatest game changer for me, guys, and I am obsessed with this, because not only is it great for killing the strep, but it's also really good for calming the nervous system. So I take 5 mils in a measuring cup with water and down it back. Okay, things like selenium, golden seal, licorice root, oregano oil, chamomile and peppermint tea, omega-3 anti-inflammatory, which I have to say, this is not part of his protocol, but I just added into all of those things because I do believe that it is incredible for good skin health. Okay, so foods that heal and help kill off the strep, okay, and help your body thrive are things like garlic, because that's great for killing strep. So is onion, really good. Adding greens such as spinach, kale, chard, butter leaf lettuce, red leaf lettuce, kale. They're all wonderful things, which I incorporate as much as I can during the week. Cherries and berries, because they contain antibacterial properties that help fight streptococcus. Bananas, they're also fantastic for combating stress. They've got wild blueberries, because they also break down this bacteria, and also other strep-related issues, which include SIBO, UTIs, pneumonia, styes, migraines, bacterial vaginosis, yeast infections, and sinus problems, okay? But you can do the research yourself and look more into this. There's also peppermint, oregano, thyme, sage, ginger, turmeric, cayenne pepper, cinnamon, and a whole bunch of herbs and spices, because they are so antibacterial and their properties are incredible. There are things like cucumbers, tomatoes, red bell peppers, winter squash, sweet potatoes, and other tuberous roots, okay? So this is what has helped me. This is what has helped heal me. And I'm so excited to be sharing this with you, because it was like a revelation. So if there's anything there that really resonates, please, I just incorporate it and incorporate those supplements, because I cannot believe how far I have come in the last 9 months being on his protocol. So thirdly, I want to talk all things skin health and what I put on externally to combat my breakouts. I really believe finding yourself a really good therapist skin therapist that's in line with your personal ethos is important. So I prefer my everyday life, and I want an organic, a holistic approach to my beauty products, treatments, all of that. So I visit the Clear Skin experts in Melbourne. I was too afraid to even mention them because they're not really taking on new clients until October. But guys, they are the real deal. I am so thankful for them and their incredible products and just their approach to healing skin. It's just all about balance and, you know, not tearing the skin apart. They also have an in-house naturopath who can work with your skin therapist to help you heal. So it's a one-stop shop. It's, you know, an inside out, outside in approach. Yeah. So Clear Skin experts, they really do specialize in corneotherapy. And what this means is they work to rebuild the skin's barrier. So your first line of defense. So my skin barrier when I first went and saw them was like non-existent. Okay. And everything I put on my skin made it worse, aggravated it. So when your skin barrier is strong, it's able to combat free radicals, bacteria. And so really they have this extensive understanding of the skin. And they have all sorts of acne treatments in general, but my favorite is the LED lighting because this helps restore damaged skin and it helps kill off bacteria as well, which can be caused by stress, like we mentioned before. So their products are a brand called Dermavisuals, and I'm going to swear by this. If you are suffering from acne, you know, try and reach out to them, see if they can organize an online consultation for you and at least get their products, because I have found that I need less and less like in-house treatments because their at-home products are just so phenomenal and they work. I don't have to look around for different products. I don't have to, you know, read online reviews and YouTube videos trying to figure out what works. I just make one phone order and I don't have to think about it and the products are in my hand and I just carry on. It's like one less thing to stress about. So, you know, Dermavisuals is just something that I swear by and that I love, and just really using organic makeup. The thing with organic makeup, guys, and Jane Iredale is one of my favorites. If you can get onto her stuff as well. The Clear Skin experts, they also have her products. It allows the skin to breathe, but it's also really, it's performance-based as well. So it does work. It creates this sort of, depending on what it is that you're buying, but it can create like a flawless look effect, and it can be quite thick, and depending on how thick you want to go with foundation, so to speak. But if you need it heavy, it can give you that look as well. But it allows the skin to breathe and it doesn't clog the pores, because this is another thing as well that we're trying to, you know, combat and stay away from, is clogged pores. So again, this is all at the Clear Skin experts. They are just a one-stop shop for me. I really don't look anywhere else for my makeup or for my skin, you know, treatments. This is where I go. So I really cannot recommend highly enough. And yeah, so last couple of tips that I do and I use on a daily, weekly basis to just stay on top of my congestion and maintaining health overall. I just want to cover the lymphatic drainage system because it is a very complex system. Okay, so the lymphatic system is a network of tissues and organs that help rid the body of toxic pathogens and waste. So it transports a lymph, which is a fluid, and this is infection-fighting white blood cells that run throughout the body. So some of the face tools that I use, okay, because some people ask me about tools, and this is what I use on a weekly and daily basis, are what help this lymphatic system. This is critical, okay, for just, again, overall good health and maintaining good skin health. So I have this gua sha tool. If you go on YouTube, you will find lots of videos that really break this down for you, and there's a proper way to use it. Just make sure that you find someone really good. I would recommend Noi Skincare. You can find her on Instagram as well. She has a breakdown of how to use this properly. Incredible, okay? This is how sculpt and tone and get rid of fine lines for me personally. So I really, really cannot rave on about this enough. Like if you do one side of your face, you'll see that there's like this lift, and then like the other side will just be, you know, normal. And so it's just really nice, especially if you've got a photo shoot coming up, or, you know, an event that you want to go to and you want to look your best. Instead of injecting your face with Botox and all sorts of things, which I'm not going to rubbish because I used to do that, okay? I used to, and I'm here to tell you that this will eventually will create more havoc, okay, in the long term, I believe. So using things like this that you can use on a daily basis that really don't cost that much are really great. Also dry body brushing, I can't even say this properly. This is wonderful for the lymphatic system as well. As I've mentioned, you know, just getting rid of unwanted toxins that are not healthy for us. This is another great way. It also helps with reducing cellulite, because cellulite is essentially like the blood that's just quite stagnant. And so what this does, it just helps get rid of it. And if you use it every day, you will see the benefits, I promise. Again, it's just like making these things a habit, not doing it once or twice and going, it doesn't work. Okay, and the last thing I want to invest in, I don't have yet, is a derma roller. And what this does is it helps the product penetrate through the skin, and it creates tightening of the pores, and it helps with scarring. These tools are phenomenal. They're just really great to incorporate into your, you know, your beauty routine, whatever it is. So that's another thing. And the last thing that I really want to mention, things like towels. Whatever you use to dry your body, don't use that same towel to dry your face. Use a separate towel, because you don't want to be, you know, exchanging bad bacteria, and just changing your pillowcases often. I do every second day, because I find that, again, I don't know what this mane of mine is collecting during the day. So if I put my head on the pillow where my hair's been and I'm sleeping for 8 hours, hopefully, I just don't know what my skin is picking up. So it's something that you can implement. And lastly, just, I know this is going to sound silly for some of you, but I do skin mantras. And what this means is, like, even on my phone, I have clear skin as a mantra that I look at every day. And what this does, it just keeps me on the path to thinking that my skin is clear. Because if you keep thinking that, again, it goes back to your mindset, and you just have this idea that your skin will be clear and you're on the path to recovery. You will become that. If you keep focusing on how bad it is, you're just going to make it worse. So with all of that being said, I hope you have found this video somewhat helpful. It is very quick because there's so much information. I know some of you are like, this is not a quick video, but I've really kind of touched on, in small doses, topics that really could just go on forever and ever. But this for me is really what's important. If you do have any questions, don't hesitate to DM me or leave in the comment section down below. And I would love to just hear your thoughts and your feedback. And if there's any sort of key takeaways, I really hope that it does bring you more joy and more peace in your life. So thank you for making it this far in the video, and have a wonderful day. Bye guys.